I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving! The show goes on!
Sony did the right thing. Finally. After weeks of Sony getting a lot of criticism, they finally did something right. Jim Ryan did something right. And I called him an idiot in the last video. He finally did something right. So I was working on a video talking about the cbomb situation with the PS3 and the PS4, and right when I heard the news about Sony canceling their plan to shut down the PS3 and PS Vita stores on the console, I canceled the video before I edited it and posted it. And if I release it now instead of working on this video, then the video will be outdated then. But Sony is still going to shut down the PSP store because the PSP isn't as online reliant as the PS3 and the PS Vita, because when the PSP came out back in 2004, the PSN didn't exist yet. PSN didn't exist till a couple of years. So the PSP is an old console before internet was even as prevalent as it is today, during the PS3 or during PS4 or PS5 era. So it kind of makes sense why Sony will still shut down the PSN on the PSP. So Jim Ryan actually said something about the cbomb situation and the server shutting down, and he actually said, "Okay, I'm sorry. We're gonna look into the cbomb situation on the PS3, and then we're gonna look into that." That came out of the same guy who looked at Gran Turismo and said, "Who'll play this crap? The graphics are shit." That's not exactly how he said it, but he said something like that. So Jim Ryan did something right, but that doesn't mean he will be a good CEO or anything like that, because he's still going to make idiotic decisions with the PlayStation brand. I know he's still going to do that. So I would like to say some things in my last video that I made. Like, there are people who are ordinary people who aren't really into the gaming community, who just have one console, and like, I had a console. I don't need to buy any more systems. As long as I can play video games, that's all I care about. Like, there are people who only own an Xbox 360 or a Wii or PS3 or a PS2 because I have a music teacher when I was in 8th grade that had a PS2, and he was pretty cool. He brought Rock Band and Guitar Hero over to class. He was pretty cool. So you're cool if you have one console and you want to play video games. So it is cool. There are people that still own the PS3 and download games from time to time. Which, it's good that they won't get their... It's good that Sony won't destroy their only console. So that's a good thing. And one thing I would like to correct myself over is the PS4 is the only console that blocks physical games with a cbomb. With the PS3, it blocks digital games when the CMOS batteries wear out and the PSN servers get shut down. It works that way. The PS3 only blocks digital games. With the PS4, it blocks both digital and physical games. So I'm going to correct myself here. And the PS5 also has that CMOS battery design. And the reason why these consoles are designed that way is to prevent people from buying games early. And like that's when story-driven games are more common. Like we have The Last of Us, Uncharted. That's when more story-driven games, more cinematic games become more common, and Sony doesn't want people to play those games like weeks early and then going around spoiling those games. Sony doesn't want anyone to do that. That's why those consoles are designed that way. So the PS Vita and PS3 stores are going to stay open for a little while longer. That doesn't mean it's going to last forever. Sony, they're old consoles. The PS Vita, that handheld, was out for like 10 years. It came out in 2012, 2011. That's like 10 years ago. And the PS3 came out like 15 years ago. These consoles been out for a while. So they're going to stick around for a little while longer. And Sony's going to look into the cbomb situation and go look into that cbomb situation with the CMOS battery and try to think of something to at least make the PS3 and the Vita and the PS4 functional after servers shut down, after the CMOS battery wears down. Because in my last video I said, at least make the consoles functional. At least do that. And they did more than that. Like, I said that she should do at least a firmware update that allows us to play games without the CMOS battery or the PSN servers. Even if it sucks if you can't download games anymore and you can't look at your trophies or get trophies on these systems anymore. At least have those consoles where you could at least play a game on it, not just a Blu-ray player. And Sony did more of that. They decided to cancel their decision to shut down the PS3 and the PS Vita store, and I will give them a big round of applause for that, because that is a good decision Sony made. Good job. Like, if you spoke into my 2017 self, my 2017 self or 2018 self, I thought that releasing old games on newer consoles is stupid. Like, why not play the original hardware? Like, I thought the SNES Classic Edition, what's the point of that if you can buy the original console? Well, the games get overpriced over the years, and you have more room. Like, not everyone wants to put consoles all over the place. People just want to have less consoles as possible. And people want to play older games from their childhood or from their teenage years. People want, or when they're in college or in their 20s or whatever. There are people that want to do that for nostalgic reasons, or they haven't played those games yet. That's how future generations know older games. And that's like the PS3 used to have PS1 games. Like, you can play the original Crash Bandicoots or Final Fantasy VII on your PS3 with wireless controllers and upscaled to HD. That is awesome. The Wii used to put NES, Super Nintendo games, N64, Sega Genesis games, Sega Master System games, Neo Geo games, TurboGrafx 16 games. Nintendo was awesome at preserving their games, and Sony did good. We need to preserve our older games that came out decades ago, because not everyone wants to have like consoles laying around all over the place. Not everyone wants to do that. And over time, discs wear out, cartridges wear out, they become more valuable, more expensive. That's why we release older games on newer consoles. Like just like with older movies, no one wants to go and find a VHS or find a VCR that works or have a print that has an old movie like from the 60s or 70s. Like if you want to watch Midnight Cowboy or Goldfinger or something like that, you can watch it on a streaming service or Blu-ray or anything or any newer format. Games should be preserved like movies do. So the PS3 and Vita are going to stick around for a little while longer, which is a good round of applause for Sony. Sony did the right thing, and that they actually listened to their fans. Like, this is an example of a backlash that's big enough that the studios actually responded and actually did something about it. This is a good example of that. Like, for another example is when the Sonic movie, the first trailer, Sonic looked all gross, has like eyes like Annabelle or Chucky or a killer doll or something like that, and his teeth looks like a small child's teeth. Sonic looked horrible in the first trailer. It got lots of dislikes and there were videos about it, and then Paramount removed the trailer from their YouTube channel and pretend the first trailer didn't exist, and then months later they got a much better trailer with a much better looking Sonic. Paramount listened to the fans and the movie was a box office success. It would have been the first video game movie to hit the $1 billion in the box office mark, but due to COVID, it ruined that. It became the highest grossing video game movie of all time. And the exact same thing happened with the cbomb and the PS3 and PS Vita stores shutting down. People made videos about it. There was a big backlash against it, and Sony looked at it, watched all those videos, and said, I guess we need to do something about it. And they decided to cancel their plan to shut down the PS3 and Vita stores. This is what happens when the fans and all those other people and the consumers backlash big enough. It doesn't always work, but the bigger the backlash is, the more likely we're going to win, and the people, like the studios, the company, will listen. This is an epic win.